Hello, viewers, and welcome to this Hot Talk. If you're wondering why I've addressed you, the viewer, so abruptly, it is because I have chosen to break the fourth wall. The fourth wall is a term used to describe the invisible barrier between the narrative and the viewer, often the stage and the audience. The wall is broken when the viewer is addressed. Since most of the first recorded films were documentaries that address the camera, the origin of the literary device known as breaking the fourth wall or directly addressing the audience is unknown. Although the term breaking the fourth wall originated in theater in the 17th century, the technique can be applied to film and television as well, in which the fourth wall is the camera. Writers may include breaking the fourth wall for many reasons: to add to a character's inner monologue, to draw in the audience, or to draw emphasis on specific characters. Whatever the reason may be, the literary device of addressing the audience is most commonly used by villainous characters, often so that the viewer is forced to empathize with them. By explaining their side of the story or being vulnerable with the audience, antagonists are able to gain their much-needed sympathy, adding complexity to their character and the plot. Breaking the fourth wall creates a dialogue between the character and audience, one that allows the viewer to get a glimpse of the villain's inner monologue and motivations. By hearing the villain's side of the story, we are inclined to feel empathy or relate to them, making them a more compelling character. Take American Psycho, for example. Although Patrick Bateman is a psychotic serial killer, his humorous cuts to the camera and witty comments make him likable, allowing the viewer to feel like they themselves are friends with the character, and that they are in on something that the other characters are not. By having direct access to the villain's emotions, the viewer is consequentially more likely to side with them. Breaking the fourth wall is a narrative special effect that allows for non-diegetic discussion. Diegetic means within the fictional world that the story takes place in. For example, watching a character turn on their radio to their favorite song is diegetic, as opposed to a score accompanying a scene that only the viewer can hear. By breaking the fourth wall, the character is breaking the barrier between the diegetic world and reality by engaging in discussions that the other characters cannot witness. When a character directly addresses the camera or audience, they are acknowledging the existence of something that should not exist in their world, or they are acknowledging that the world they are in is fiction.
We so rich. Why we can't afford no ceiling?
In the perspective of a villain, breaking the fourth wall allows the character to seem vulnerable to the audience even though they can be cruel to other characters within the story. Imagine you have a friend who's super nice to you and you feel like you know them well, but they don't seem to be as kind around other people. It is easy for one to deny someone's cruelty towards others when one has only been shown kindness. This is why viewers can sometimes have a hard time distinguishing between the hero and anti-hero. This is evident in the movie High Fidelity, in which the main character Rob is the villain of his own story. However, because the movie is narrated by himself, he tries to convince the viewer that he is in the right, and that his relationships have failed because of the actions of others. Nonetheless, Rob is his own enemy, but his vulnerability towards the audience could blind them of such facts. Breaking the fourth wall is not only used to build empathy, it also allows for contextual information to be shared in a natural way. As stated in the article Is He Talking to Me by Daniela M. Schwartz, a viewer's enjoyment of a piece of media depends on how much they comprehend it. Instead of being left to their own devices to understand the motives behind the characters' actions, breaking the fourth wall allows them to be explained by the characters themselves, giving the viewer an understanding from within the story. This is ideal for a villainous character because they are often the ones whose motives are left unclear. A prime example of this is Jordan Belfort's character in the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. Throughout the film, Belfort tells his story of taking over Wall Street through direct address, talking to the camera as if it is a friend, making eye contact and cracking jokes as if it is the real Jordan Belfort selling you worthless stock. His ability to grab hold of the viewer is what makes the character so beloved and sought after, something he would not have been able to do without the literary device of breaking the fourth wall.
He's a bit annoying, actually.
What is that?
What?
That thing that you're doing?
Nothing!
The novel Breaking the Fourth Wall, Direct Address in the Cinema by Tom Brown states that directly addressing the viewer is a symbol of power, and that characters that do so are central in their stories, and often villainous. Being the narrators of their own stories, characters who break the fourth wall are usually in a position of greater understanding within their fiction. Villains are fitting to this role as they often have a scheme that is unbeknownst to the other characters, putting them in a position of power. By breaking the fourth wall, the character can share their motive or plan to the viewer without having to reveal themselves to others, which is ideal for a villainous character. In Shakespeare's Othello, the antagonist Iago breaks the fourth wall multiple times throughout the play to discuss his inner monologue, his plans, and feelings, as well as to give contextual information about other characters in the plot. Even with Iago's narration, many central questions regarding the play are mostly concerning Iago's motives. Iago's use of breaking the fourth wall is not to hide vulnerabilities, but the lack thereof. To other characters, Iago is a loyal and supportive friend who cares for others. However, through directly addressing the audience, his true colors are revealed as he displays psychotic tendencies and violent urges.
How am I then a villain?
Breaking the fourth wall is a detached yet personal way of connecting with the audience. It allows for the villain to be dishonest with characters and confide in the viewer like a friend, giving a clear understanding of their intentions. By talking to the viewer, the character is typically less present in their own relationships and surroundings, as well as less vulnerable to other characters, because they are busy maintaining a relationship with the audience. This may take the form of an unlikable jerk, or a psychotic murderous villain. Either way, they both tend to end their movies with the same look on their face.
And now it's all over.
Hear music, you see credits, you think it's over?
Where's the remote control? Where's the fucking remote control?